Imagine a terrified young woman, heart pounding, running through a dark, rain-soaked alley, pursued by ruthless killers who'll stop at nothing to silence her forever. Just when hope seems lost, a mysterious stranger, a powerful, kind-hearted CEO, sweeps her into safety, changing her life in ways she never dreamed possible. Dive into this thrilling tale of danger, rescue, and unexpected love that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Subscribe now for more gripping stories delivered straight to your inbox. Lila crouched behind a rusted dumpster, her breath hitching in her chest as the icy rain plastered her thin jacket to her trembling frame, the distant wail of sirens drowned out by the thundering of her heart, knowing the men chasing her were close, too close, their heavy boots splashing through puddles in the alley, their low, menacing voices promising a fate she couldn't bear to imagine. She was just a poor girl from the wrong side of town, a diner waitress who'd seen something she shouldn't have. A briefcase stuffed with cash changing hands in the diner's back room, a man with cold eyes and a scar across his cheek pulling a gun on another, a deal gone wrong that ended in blood, and Lila, unnoticed in the shadows, had become their target the moment she fled, her sneakers slipping on the wet pavement as she ran from the diner into the labyrinth of the city's underbelly, her only crime being in the wrong place at the wrong time, her life now reduced to a desperate game of cat and mouse where she was the prey, her cheap phone dead in her pocket, no one to call, no one to save her. Her parents long gone, her friends too few and too far to help, and the killers were relentless, their flashlights cutting through the rain like knives, their shouts growing louder as they closed in, forcing her to dart from one hiding spot to another, her lungs burning, her legs screaming, until she stumbled into a dead-end alley, the brick wall looming like a tombstone, trapping her as the men's silhouettes appeared at the alley's mouth, their laughter cruel and triumphant, and just as she whispered a prayer to a god she wasn't sure she believed in, headlights blazed behind them, a sleek black car screeching to a halt, the door swinging open to reveal a man in a tailored suit, his presence commanding, his voice sharp as he barked at the men to back off, his tone carrying an authority that made them hesitate, and before Lila could process it, he was beside her, his hand firm but gentle as he pulled her to her feet, his deep green eyes locking onto hers with a promise of safety, whispering, "You're okay now, I've got you," as he ushered her into the warmth of his car, the scent of leather and cologne enveloping her as they sped away, leaving the killers stunned in the rain, their shouts fading into the night. He introduced himself as Ethan Caldwell, CEO of Caldwell Enterprises, a name she'd seen in headlines but never imagined meeting, his face chiseled and kind, his voice steady as he asked what happened, and Lila, shivering and terrified, spilled the truth about the diner, the deal, the murder, her words tumbling out between sobs, expecting him to pull over and call the police, but instead, he drove her to a towering glass mansion on the city's outskirts, its lights glowing like a beacon in the storm, insisting she stay until it was safe. His staff, a kind elderly housekeeper named Mrs. Harrow and a stoic driver named Marcus, welcoming her without question, offering her dry clothes, a warm meal, and a room that felt like a dream compared to her cramped apartment, but Lila's relief was tinged with suspicion, because why would a man like Ethan, rich beyond measure, risk everything for a stranger like her, a nobody with nothing to offer, and as days turned into weeks, his kindness overwhelmed her, lavish dinners, new clothes, a phone he insisted she keep, his gentle questions about her life, her dreams, stirring feelings she didn't dare name, yet the shadow of the killers lingered, their faces haunting her dreams, and one night, when Ethan was away on business, she found a hidden room in the mansion, its walls lined with files, photos of the scarred man from the diner, documents linking him to a criminal syndicate, and her heart sank, realizing Ethan wasn't just a kind CEO but a man with secrets, hunting the same criminals who hunted her. His rescue no coincidence but part of a larger plan, a vendetta tied to a past he hadn't shared, and when he returned, catching her in the room, his face darkened, not with anger but with fear, confessing that the scarred man had killed his brother years ago, that he'd been tracking the syndicate ever since, using his wealth and influence to dismantle it, and Lila, the key witness to their latest crime, was his chance to bring them down, but also something more, someone he'd grown to care for, his voice breaking as he admitted he couldn't lose her too. And in that moment, Lila saw the man behind the power, vulnerable and real, her fear giving way to trust, their bond deepening as they worked together, feeding information to the police through Ethan's contacts, staying one step ahead of the syndicate, until a trap was set, a sting operation in an abandoned warehouse where the scarred man and his crew were lured, expecting a deal but finding SWAT teams instead, the night erupting in chaos, gunfire, shouts, Lila's heart racing as she hid with Ethan, his hand steadying hers, promising they'd make it through, and when the dust settled, the killers were in cuffs, the scarred man's cold eyes meeting Lila's one last time before he was dragged away, the nightmare finally over, but the real twist came later, when Ethan, standing in the mansion's garden under a starlit sky, asked her to stay, not as a guest but as his partner, confessing he'd fallen for her courage, her heart, her resilience, and Lila, who'd never known a home that felt like love, said yes, stepping into a life she'd never dared dream of, spoiled with affection, security, and a future where she was no longer the poor girl running from killers, but a woman cherished, strong, and whole, her story not just one of survival but of finding a love that saved her in every way.